Alright guys, so this is going to be a quick update regarding the situation with my wife. I know a couple of people have sent emails asking how we're getting on and sending their best wishes, and for that I really appreciate it, so thank you. And also I've had a number of comments on my main channel on the videos I've done recently asking how we are and wishing us all well. Again, I really do appreciate that, so thank you. So I was going to make this update video 2-3 weeks ago. Up until that point there weren't really any significant changes in the situation, so there weren't really much to say. I think in my last video she was up to 2 rounds of chemo she'd had, and she's actually handled the chemo really well. I mean, she's been out walking around our local park the day after chemo, and the worst side effect she's actually had from the chemo itself is feeling tired. She's been having to take naps throughout the day. So other than the chemo and then the weekly line cleans where they've had to flush the PICC line which she's got in her arm, and various blood tests just to keep an eye on things, it was pretty much standard procedure up until the 3rd round of chemo, after which they booked her in for a CT scan and an MRI, and that was to basically see how the cancer had reacted to the chemo. So she had the MRI and the CT scan, and about a week later we got the results back, or we called into the hospital for the results. So we went to the hospital, and unfortunately the chemo hasn't really caused any significant changes with the cancer. Now, originally they told us that the 40+ metastases on her brain were actually looking a lot better, which I suppose in a strange kind of way is, well, sort of good news. But then we did receive a letter a week down the line saying that she still had the 40+ metastases on her brain, so we're not 100% sure whether they are any better or not. Now, as for the cancer in her lung, they don't reckon that it's shrunk at all with the chemo, and they're now thinking that it's actually spread to the other lung and possibly the liver, which obviously isn't great news. So bearing in mind the first 3 sessions of chemo hadn't had the effects they were hoping on the cancer cells, they decided to not go ahead with the 4th round of chemo because she was due to have 4 rounds. So they scrapped the 4th round, and my wife's been offered another chemo treatment, different again to what she was having, in the hope that this will hopefully have some sort of effect. We have been told that this treatment is specifically designed to target small cell lung cancer, whereas the original one was hopefully going to treat the small cell lung cancer and the metastases that were on her brain, but unfortunately that doesn't seem to have done anything. They did say, however, that the cancer in the lung seems stable. Not sure really how they can say something like that when they're also saying that it looks like it could have spread to the other lung and liver. So anyway, long story short, we've been waiting for new dates. Now they have said that because she has coped with the first lot of chemo quite well, they're willing to try a second treatment, still chemo, but a different drug. Not sure of the names. So they've booked her in for 3 sessions. That's all they reckon they're going to give her. Hopefully, it will either shrink the cancer cells or keep it stable. They have said, I mean, they've been brutally honest about it all. They've said that there is only a 20% chance that it's going to have any effect on the cancer cells. So 20% doesn't seem a lot, but it's a damn sight better than 0%. I suppose you look at it like that's 1 in 5 people that it might actually make a difference with. So fingers crossed, this will kind of have a effect on the cancer. So that is due, the first session is due in a couple of days, this Thursday. The last chemo she had was 4.5 hours each time. She was basically hooked up to a drip and had different drugs pumped into her. This one, I think, is 2.5 hours a session, and like I said, she's only having 3 of those. So obviously we were all hoping that the chemo, or the first lot of chemo, was actually going to make a bit of a difference with the cancer. So we're all a bit gutted that it hasn't had the effect that we were hoping for. Overall, we're trying to keep the mood within the family kind of upbeat and positive. The funny thing is, to look at my wife, you wouldn't know she was ill. It's really strange. Like I say, other than feeling a little bit tired, so she's been having naps and things, and occasionally, if she walks maybe a little bit too far or whatever, she can get a little bit like out of breath. But she used to suffer with asthma quite a bit, so we're not sure whether that's a direct result of the cancer or something else, or even the placebo effect. But overall, I mean, obviously we're gutted, but you've kind of got to keep going with things and keep hoping, keep praying that this is gonna make a difference. Hopefully, slow it down. Apart from that, there's not really anything anyone can do about it. I mean, I've tried to kind of keep myself in the right frame of mind. Not been managing to do that very well, if I'm honest. You, or those of you that watch my main channel, would have seen the reviews I done on the evolution stuff. Probably just as well they sent me the tools for free to review. It's, I wouldn't say review videos are any easier than like build videos or whatever, but I think they require a little bit less thought on my part. Not that I just stand in front of a camera and talk about the tool. I do like to try and be thorough with my reviews, give you close-ups of the items in question, and so I mean there's still a lot of thought that goes into these review videos, but it's kind of given me something to focus on in the shed. Like I say, I've been meaning to do this update for those of you that are interested, and anyone that is following along or have sent emails or comments on my videos on my main channel, wishing as well. I really do appreciate that, and I know my wife and family appreciate it also. So once again, I thank you for the kind words and support. So I think that's all there is to say, really. We're all trying to keep positive and keep kind of living somewhat normal. It is really, really hard to keep yourself in the right frame of mind. It's like you're walking around with a dark cloud above your head constantly. There are times when we'll have a laugh and a joke or whatever, and you almost forget what's going on, and then something always happens which makes you which reminds you of the actual stuff that's going on. So you can never really forget about it. Like I say, I've been struggling to get myself in the workshop, and it's just hard. I mean, I married my wife. I thought we'd be together until we were old. I didn't think I never thought I'd found myself in a situation where she could die at such a young age. And even though I'm kind of hoping and praying and hoping she's around for a long, long time, it breaks my heart because I can't imagine what life's going to be like without her. But I mean, there's not a lot we can do. There's nothing anyone can do. I mean, this is the hand we've been dealt with, and we've kind of just got to keep living and just keep our fingers crossed that she's going to be around for many years to come. So I think I'm going to leave the video there anyway, because I thank you for the continued support. I will try and keep you posted as and when I get the chance. As you can imagine, it is quite a difficult thing. Quite a difficult thing to talk about. But I know that some of you are interested, so that is all I've got to say right now. And I will hopefully make another video in the future some point. Let you know if there's any changes to the circumstances. I doubt there's going to be anything significant to say until she's kind of had the chemo, and even if this does work, I'm not sure what they're going to do once they've given her 3 cycles, whether that's going to be it, or maybe if it shows it's going to have an effect or shrink it or whatever, then maybe they might continue her with the treatment. They did say they're only going to do 3, but I'm not sure whether they just mean 3 for now or 3 and that's it. Hopefully, fingers crossed, this will actually work, and yeah, we just have to wait and see, I suppose. So until the next update, thank you again for all the well wishes on the main channel, and messages of support. We do really appreciate that, so thanks. And until the next video, stay safe, and I'll try and do an update in the near future. Cheers for watching, guys.